Today, I'm going to show you how to build a deadfall trap. Welcome back to another video. In this video right here, I'm out in the woods right now. I'm going to show you how to build a deadfall trap out of just plain simple sticks out here in the woods. It's for a survival situation, or you can build it, you know, to have fun out in your backyard just to make one. So it's a good thing to know how to do. It's very fun to make. It's very easy. I had a lot of people watch my other video that I made about the alcohol stove can that I made out of one can. It's a survival situation too. A lot of people liked it, so I figured I'd show you something else that I know how to do, which is build a deadfall trap. And we're out here in the woods right now, and I'm actually looking for sticks to be able to build it right now. To be able to build it, you're probably wondering what kind of sticks you need. In my personal preference, I use pine sticks because it's the straightest, it's softwood, it's a lot easier to work with. And if you don't know what softwood is and hardwood and stuff like that, I'll tell you, it's pretty simple. It's very easy to know if it's hardwood or softwood. There's two different ways, but I'm gonna show you the easiest way. The easiest way is if you find something laying on the ground, a stick, you take your fingernail and you press into it. And when you take your fingernail and you press into it, if your fingernail digs down into the wood, that's softwood. And if your fingernail don't want to go down into the wood, then that's gonna be hardwood. And working with hardwood is a lot more harder than it is working with softwood. What I'm doing right now, like I said, I'm looking for some softwood. I got a pine tree right here. This is a big old pine tree. So pine tree, it's the straightest wood. That's what you're looking. You're looking for straight wood. I know there's some limbs down here on the ground somewhere, but that's what we're looking for, is some pine wood limbs. And I see a couple right here. And like I said, pine wood is the easiest, and this is a pine limb right here. It don't have to be anything big, but you see how straight it is? Pine wood is really straight. And the straighter the wood, the best, because if it's crooked and all messed up, it makes it harder to work with. But we're gonna pick up these couple of limbs right here that I see. They don't have to be real big. I mean, it's not really hard to have to find little limbs, but sometimes it is. And like I said, pine wood is your best wood. But we got the limbs right now. I'm walking back up here, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna find me a spot to sit down. Whoa, I had a leaf hit me. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find me a spot to sit down at, and I'm gonna show you how to build this deadfall trap, and it's pretty cool. So let me find me a spot to sit down at, and I'm gonna show you how to build this deadfall trap. All right, so I found a spot to sit down at right here. I've already actually started working on the deadfall trap right here to make it go a little bit more faster so the video ain't so long. But it's very simple. It's very easy to build a deadfall trap. What I got right here is a little saw. This is one of the tools you're gonna need. You don't actually have to have a saw. You can use a knife, because I'm gonna have to have a knife. So you're gonna need probably these two things right here, is a knife and a saw. The sticks that we found, here's the sticks that we found just a minute ago. They're just little pine sticks. When you're cutting out the sticks right here, you're gonna need 3 of them. You can tell the stick right here is not straight at all, but it doesn't matter, because if you look at the stick, you don't look at the whole thing. What you want to do is look at parts of it. And from here to here, we have a straight piece. If you look at that right there, you say a straight piece? We have a straight piece, and that's what you're looking for in sticks. Even though they are bent, you can still find straight sticks, like straight parts in the stick. And pine wood is going to be your best wood to work with. I'm pretty sure there's pine trees pretty much everywhere. And North Carolina is pretty much home of the pines, because that's all we pretty much got around here is tons of pine trees. And the pine trees here, they're called loblollies. I don't know if anybody knows that or not, but they're called a loblolly pine tree. We have a few different kinds, but that's going to be your basic one that's out here in the woods. The reason why I'm showing you the survival trap right here is because it might not be something you need all the time, but it can be something that you might need one day in your life, and you never know. Because you can get lost in the woods. If you don't have a good sense of direction, or if you've never been out in the woods or deep down in the woods before, and you're away from civilization, you can get lost. And you can get very lost in the woods if you don't know what you're doing. I'm gonna give you kind of a tip that I do where I'm in the woods, or I go down in the woods. When you go walk in the woods one way, okay, it looks one way, it looks one certain way, but when you're coming back out in the woods, it will look different every time. Everything looks different when you're going in, and it looks different when you're coming back out, because you're going the opposite direction. A good thing to do when you're going in the woods and you've never been in the woods, look for landmarks. Look for trees that fell down. Look for anything funny in a tree, deformations or anything, and use it as a landmark. If you don't know anything about landmarks or don't know what to look for, you can take and make a mark on a tree, and or you can take and break a little twig off, know which way you went, so when you coming back out, you'll know like, hey, I made this mark right here. I'm on the right direction, the right path to get back out. If you don't walk, way down in the woods and you don't know where you're at. Or you can use the sun. That's a little bit more difficult, but the easiest way to do it, man, to me would be find landmarks and take and break twigs off a tree, anything that's going to help you to get back out if you don't know what you're doing. But let's say you got lost in the woods. You with a buddy, or you by yourself, or whatever. You done been lost, I don't know, a couple days maybe, and you starting to get hungry. You done ran out of food that you done ate, and you don't have no gun, you don't have anything around you, you don't have anything to use to capture an animal or anything. But you do have sticks, man. You do have sticks. And more than likely, you're going to have a knife on you. Some type of saw, maybe some type of saw you got from Walmart or something that you can just bring with you, and just different things that you have with you. But if you only have a knife will work too. It'll work perfect. In a survival situation, a knife is going to be pretty much your best friend too. But a good rule of thumb is when you go camping, or if you're going walking down into the woods, bring stuff with you, like saws, anything that's going to help you get out the woods if something does happen. And most of the time, people that go down in the woods, you're going to bring some type of something with you so you can be able to get back out if something does happen. Like I said, I'm going to show you how to build this trap right here. It's not very hard. It's built out of 3 sticks. The things you're going to need, you really only need a knife. If you don't have any other thing and you have a knife on you, that's about all you need. But a saw is going to make it a little bit more easier. And I just got this little hacksaw right here. And like I said, I've already started working on it so I can make this video a little bit more shorter than what it would be if I made it very, very long. What you want to do is you want to find sticks, okay? That's the straightest as possible as you can. Because the straighter it is, the better it is. And once we get done building this thing, I'm going to show you how it works. Once you find a stick that's pretty straight, you want to find it about the same size diameter, which is about the same size diameter right here. They don't have to be exactly perfect, but they need to be about the same size diameter, and they need to be straight. They could be any length that you want to make it. It don't have to be small. It don't have to be big. It can be any length that you want to make it. There's no you need to make it this big or anything, because you might want to have it where there's a big rock or anything that's going to fall, so you might have to build it bigger or might have to build it smaller, depending on what size animal you're trying to capture. Well, I mean, what you're trying to do, what you're using. So it just depends on what you're using, really. It depends on how big you need it or how big you want it. For demonstration purposes, I'm just going to build it kind of small, not real big. To be able to measure these, to get these the same length, what you want to do is go ahead, when you cut it, you just go ahead and cut it. And you take the other piece after you cut it off, you just want to lay it back up there, and you want to take and just kind of mark it and just cut it off. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be pretty cuts like I did right there. You can just break it off like I did right here at the end. You see how it's broken at the end? You can just break it off, however you want to, kind of score it or whatever a little bit, and just break it off what you need. Sit it on the ground up against the side of a tree, and just kind of kick it and just break it. The wood does not have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be green. It can be dry or whatever, because all you're doing is just building it so you can eat something. You need 3 sticks, and that's it. I've already got 2 of them right here just so I can show you what I'm doing. Like I said, I done cut them out just to make it a little bit more shorter and easier, because, I mean, it's not very hard to cut pieces of wood. So that's what I'm showing right now. You just need 2 pieces of wood. And what you do is, after you get the same length of pieces of wood that's pretty straight, you want to take and put them up there as a cross, just like this right here. You want to make a cross. Simple, very, very easy. I'm talking about as easy as possible. Like that's easy as pie right there, man. That's as simple as you're gonna get. But after you put them up there, what you want to do is you want to take and you want to score it on this side and this side, because these 2 pieces have to go together like Lincoln logs. All right, and that's what it should look like right there. After you take and score it on both ends, kind of make notches into it. So what happens is, after I cut it, you got a knife. You don't necessarily have to cut it like I did. You can use a knife the whole time. You can just sit down and whittle it down. But you cut little notches in it, and the reason why you cut notches in it, so you can take your knife, and what happens is all you got to do is just kind of move it, and it'll cut those little notches right out. And what'll happen is, I don't know if you can see it or not, but you'll start making a little indentation in a piece of wood right there. And that's what you're looking for. Right there, that's exactly what you're looking for. You want a piece of wood to notch out so the other piece can fit down inside of it. And once you get it notched out, you know, you just kind of sit there and mess with it a little bit, notch them on out. It don't have to be exactly perfect. None of this has to be perfect, but it has to be good enough that when you stick it together, it goes together pretty good. Because if not, it might not work. But I'm just showing you how it works and how to do it, because it's not that hard. It's not hard at all. Let me cut this right here just a little bit more, just so I can get this little piece right here out. Because we're going to cut the other one on camera, just so you can see. I just kind of wanted to take and start on it so you can see what I'm doing, and it doesn't take me forever. But we have that about cut out right there. That's about what you want to do right there. Have it pretty much centered. So the other piece of wood you got right here will fit down in it just like this right here. Just like that. So I just told you what you need to do for the first piece, so we're going to do it for the second piece. You want to make a cross with it, just like that right there. What you do is you score it. You want to score it on one side and then score it on the other side. And the reason why you score it is because, you know, you want to find out where you need to put your marks at so they can go together. All right, we just scored it. I don't know if you can actually see that or not, but we just scored it. Let me go ahead and cut this right here, which ain't gonna take me very, very long. But let me cut this right here so you can see what's going on, so I can show you. You just kind of cut it down and cut like little notches in it, you know, all the way down it. It might take me a second. I'm gonna kind of speed up the process right here. All right, we're almost done. We're almost done. No, we're pretty much done. We're good enough right there. All right, I put little slits in it again. What you do is you just take your knife or whatever you're using. You just kind of break them out. That's all you need to do is break out the little slits right there that you made in it, and it'll make the wood come right out. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, it's very, very simple for what it is. But then, like I said, everything that I'm doing right now is just time consuming. But if you're hungry, you'll definitely do it. You'll definitely do it. It's pretty cool to know how to do these things, though, man. It really is. I mean, it's really, really cool to know how to do this. And if you don't cut it out exactly right like I did, you see how it's kind of low here and kind of high there. And you just go back and you just kind of cut it a little bit more. You just kind of do it a little bit at a time. If you mess up on it, man, you just kind of just go back and just kind of fix it. I mean, it don't have to be exactly pretty, but you just kind of go back and just fix it up and just make it look pretty. It don't have to be exactly right, but they got to fit together though. They have to fit together. I hope so far I'm explaining this pretty good. I don't know if I am or not. But you see how I cut two little notches out of it right there? Now these two pieces go together just like this right here. If you look at it, I didn't cut it quite big enough, which is fine because I didn't want to cut it where it was too big or nothing. But them two pieces don't quite fit together right yet. So what I need to do is take this other piece right here and kind of cut it a little bit more bigger. Just kind of work on a little bit at a time. It don't have to be exactly perfect now. Just work on a little bit at a time. You can always cut more, but you can't take and put it back. Once you cut it off, it's off. You're not taking and putting it back on there. So we need to cut it just a little bit more again. Not a lot, but we just need to cut it just a little bit more. And you want some type of wobble. Just a little bit of a wobble in it. Not a big wobble, but some type of a wobble. because I'll show you later on why you need a little bit of a wobble. And that might be it, but we might need to cut it a little bit more. Yeah, it could be cut just a little bit more. Just a little bit. Just not trying to cut off too much because I don't want to have to redo it. My camera stopped recording, man. That ain't good. That ain't good. My battery went dead. But it's okay. We got it charged up. But I still haven't got this all the way done yet. So it's all good. We're back on the same process that we were doing. I just need to cut it just a little bit more. And that's what I'm doing right now. Just cutting it just a little bit more. Once I get it cut, I think this will be the last cut right here. Oh, we're almost there. There we go. Let me clean it up just a little bit, just so it'll fit together pretty good. That should be it right there. Let's see what happens. Okay, we got them together. All right, if you look at it, they're together. It's just a cross is what it is. When you put it together, you want some type of wobble in it. You see how it kind of wobbles right here? You want just a little bit of a wobble in it right there. Not a whole lot, but you want a little bit. Right now, it looks like a kind of a lot, but it's okay. It should work. It should work right. Okay. Since you got these two sticks right here together, just like this, you just made a cross. That's all you need to do is make a cross. The next one we got to make is from here to here. So, what we're going to do is, we're going to find us another stick, which we have this stick right here. What we're going to do is let's see here. We're gonna try to find something that is that's pretty close, man. That's not exactly perfect, but that's pretty close right there. Nah, we're gonna have to find something a little bit more better than that. Let's see here. This stick right here should work. Okay. Now, since you got the cross, we found the stick right here. This one right here was good enough for us to use. Okay, you have the cross made out right here. What you want to do is you want to take another stick and you want to put it up here at the top. And you want to measure it. And measure it about the same length as from here to here. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to kind of eyeball it. It don't have to be perfect at all. We're just going to keep the top of it right here on there. We don't really have to have anything spectacular or special, but I just eyeballed it right there. It looks good enough. And we're going to take and we're going to cut this piece right here off right quick. Because all it is 3 sticks. We're almost done. I mean, we don't have very much left we have to do. We'll cut this off right here. We're almost through, and we're through. Okay. We have these 2 sticks that we just put together. Because you need to make these first. And then your other stick right here that we're going to have for the trap part. So it'll fall. Okay. Once you make this stick right here, your 3rd stick. We ain't going to look at all these no more here in a minute. But this is how it's going to sit. That's kind of how it's going to look right there. What we're going to do is with this stick right here, it's pretty simple. What we're going to do is we're just going to cut. We're going to cut like an incline on it. I'm going to cut that first so you can see what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and cut this right here. All right, we're almost through. Took me a little while and took me a little longer than I thought. We're almost through. And that's what you want it to look like right there. You want to have a little point on the end. It's like a little incline, because you're going to have to cut another little piece out on this piece of the stick that's wobbling so it can sit down into it. And the next thing you want to do is take and line it up, and once you line it up, you want to take the stick that is wobbling and you want to make a mark on that one. So you know what's going on, you just want to make just a little mark on it. And you want it to be straight with this one right here. With the one that's coming down on you, it's like a right angle. You want to have it coming straight down off of this one, so you want to make a little mark. I made a little mark on it right there, and you want to do the same thing. You want to kind of make a indention into this piece of wood right here. We're going to go ahead and do that. Alright, we cut the little indention in it right here. The reason why you cut the little notch into it is so that this piece can sit into it. Your third stick that we just made. So it can sit right down into it just like that right there. At the top of it, right here, you want to cut another little indention into it so it can sit down into it. I'm going to go ahead and cut that, and I'm going to show you what that's supposed to look like. Alright, the same way that we just cut this little mark into it right here. It's like a little incline and it's straight down. And you see how it wobbles? You want it to be able to wobble, so when you take this piece that's got the same little notch in it that we just made for this piece, when you stick it down on it, you want to be able to press it and it sticks on top of it. And that's pretty much it. We're pretty much done. And that's how you make a deadfall trap right there. That's all the marks that you need to make. That's everything that you have to make. And it's pretty simple. You just make two cuts where these two pieces can go together like a cross. You make a little incline right here with a straight line down. The same thing on this one right here, a little incline, and where it's straight down, a point where it can fit down into it, and where it all fits together, it fits right here on top of it. It fits down there at the bottom. And that's pretty much it. And that's how you make a deadfall trap. And it should stick all together just like that right there, just the way it looks. And that's pretty much it. What we're going to do is we're going to come out here and we're going to go test it and watch it fall and watch it work. I'm set up right here. I got me a crate for demonstration purposes that I found just to show you how it works. I got the deadfall trap right here in my hand. This thing is very, very sensitive right here. It might take me more than one try to be able to get it set up, but hopefully I can get it set up in one try. I have me a pair right here for demonstration purposes. You can cut it up and sit it underneath your trap, so it'll attract animals. Or you can take and stick it on the end of the stick. It depends on what you want to do, but for demonstration purposes, I just got it right there just to show you. We're going to take this trap right here and we're going to put it together. What you do is you want to take the trap, and the same way you just make a little cross with it. You put those two together that you made, just like that. You want to take this piece and stick it right on there. And like I said, it's kind of difficult because it is very sensitive. It's a very, very sensitive trap. But we're going to try to get this thing right here to not be so sensitive with me and work for me perfectly in this video right here. Because if it's not sensitive, if the trap is not sensitive, what's going to happen is that if the animal does come along and you're trying to catch an animal, I mean, you're trying to catch an animal. That's the whole point of making one. If it is not sensitive, what's going to happen is the animal's going to eat your it's going to eat your bait, and you're not going to trap it. You see how it just fell apart? That's what happens. I mean, you really want the thing to be very, very sensitive, because if it's not sensitive, it's not going to work, and you're not going to trap an animal, and you're going to be hungry. So we're just going to have to redo it again, and we're going to do it until we get it. And I think that's it right there. I believe it is. Oh, nope. See what I'm talking about? How it's very, very sensitive? Because these traps are very, very, very sensitive. Easy to build, but kind of hard to set up. We're going to try to keep everything together, keep everything perfect. See if we can't get this down here how it's supposed to be. Come on, buddy. Work for me, buddy. And we're going to sit it down and be very gentle. And that's how it works right there. It's leaned up against this would be your rock, this is your trap, this would be where your bait would be at the end. Let me see if I can't get the camera down here to it so I can show you what's going on. If you look at it, this is what it looks like right here. You got the top of it that's on your rock or whatever you're using. And right here is where your bait would be at. You would put your bait right here on the end of this stick, like this pear right here. You would put it on it because you need this stick to get hit. And once that stick gets hit, what's going to happen is your trap's going to fall. So, you hit it and it falls. So check it. Boom. And what happens is, if you look down in there, there's the pear and your animal is trapped. So, we have a trapped animal and we get to eat tonight. And that's how you make a deadfall trap, man. It's not very hard, but it is a little bit difficult. And I appreciate everybody watching this video right here. And that's all it is to it, man. There ain't really a whole lot more you can talk about. Just get out there and find you some sticks and make you a few little cuts on it, and you can make you a deadfall trap. But it is very sensitive when you're trying to set it up. It might not feel like it's going to work. You might have to do it more than one time, but it has to be sensitive for it to work. If not, you know, if it's not sensitive, what's going to happen is that if the animal does come by and you're really trying to trap one, it's not going to work. It's not going to fall over. It's not going to do what you want it to do. So it has to be sensitive, and everything about it is very, very sensitive. You just have to be very careful with it. You might have to make a few modifications after you build it, and so when you sit something on it, it'll go together exactly right. But it's just 3 sticks. That's all it is, and just a few cuts, and you can get out there and make your deadfall trap. And I hope everybody enjoy this video right here, man. And I appreciate everybody to watch, but I'll see everybody on the next one.